Going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Sunset Rants. We're going to go over some of the good, the bad, and the overlooked articles throughout the week to get you caught up during sunset. I'm AK, your favorite guy. We got the Rant Meister here, Scrapjaw. What's going on?
It's an evening. Let's get to it.
It's high noon. Let's go. All right. Don't forget to join us on our Discord where you can help your host choose the topics of the week and help us make the show or take this show to the next level. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our first segment. But before we do that, I got a little bit of a rant to go on this week because after watching my Facebook and my Twitter account, or formerly known as Twitter, now X, I've seen a lot of disturbing things this past 2 days that, you know, I never thought that I would see out of some of the people that I thought were my friends, regardless of, you know, party affiliation or whatnot. And, you know, I would like to address that. So we all know what happened on Saturday. All right. There's no need to explain it. Everybody across the entire planet knows what happened. We nearly lost our entire country. We nearly lost our entire country over a 20-year-old who's never even cast a ballot. You know, he probably hasn't even gone to college. Hell, he's probably not even had sex yet. And okay, so the point is, you know, we got a problem in this country with the discourse that's going on, and I feel like this is a direct result of the media and the tribalistic rhetoric from our elected officials. Especially them. Because we're not doing this amongst ourselves. Yeah, we're doing it now, but it never would have started if it wasn't for the media and it wasn't for members of Congress going back and forth bickering, saying that you know, people are doing this or they're saying that, and, you know, this is the worst thing since Hitler. I don't remember anybody saying that in my life. Do you?
Well, Roma, you've come to the game a little bit. We're glad you're here, and we're glad that you're doing this show. But I've been barking up this tree a long time about this. This has been a long time coming, I'm in the same boat you are. I'm experiencing it the same way because some of the people I've been warning, I'm saying, hey, you need to chill this out. You need to quit with this. It's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the other side's going to pop off, and you're not going to like it when they return in not so kind. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not endorsing any of that. I was just telling them. And they wouldn't listen. They wouldn't listen. And family, people are blood. And then, like you said, people I never in a million years thought I would see post stuff in support of the attempt on Trump's life, and the F around and find out is reaching find out. Mm-hmm. And again, this is observational. This is not endorsement of it, but the find out is happening, and there's nothing left I could say to him. It's like you made the bed, sleep in it. You've sown, now reap a whirlwind.
Absolutely.
If they stop, I'm cool. Like, if it gets to a point where they realize that they have fostered mutually assured destruction with their neighbors and their friends and their family, and they decide that enough is enough, I will be glad for it. But I didn't see that. I didn't see the dissolving of party lines and affiliations like I did at 9/11. Mm-hmm. I didn't see anybody deciding that they were going to come together and say, no, this is not how democracies to use the left's terminology, because I most of the time I would be pedantic and say no, it's a republic. But how do you have anybody?
A democracy.
We use democratic means within the context of a republic, right? We're not like other countries. We are not the same. You have elections, we have elections. We are not the same, but maybe we're getting there, and not the way we want to be the same as other countries. And that said, is how do you vote for somebody if they don't exist?
Right.
How do you have confidence in the system when the other side is saying, yeah, by any means necessary?
Pretty much. I mean, I can attribute this to a couple of things. I can attribute this to broken homes and fatherless children. I can attribute this to the lack of mental health, maybe the greed of the globalist elites, But what you have to understand is that the entire world on Saturday stopped for 1 second. The entire planet stopped. Because here in America, we're not the only people that watch our politics. The whole world watches our politics.
Could you imagine if that happened on a weekday and what the stock market would have done? That right there, there have been false reports of previous presidents having something of this nature, and stock markets dip and wealth transfers. So the world stopping, economically, like we are. I am grateful that we had a Sabbath day to allow for some kind of decompressing of what Saturday was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a long night for some of us who were up trying to figure out what was going on and be able to present what we've got here tonight. And many people beat us to the punch. They've got bigger channels and things, and that's what they do all day. We're working stiffs, and we're just trying to lay it out in deep. This is our way of venting it and laying it out.
We're just regular folk. That's all we are. We're just regular folk. Yeah, and on top of that, if you saw our show on Roman Nation on Saturday, it was supposed to be something entirely different.
We're supposed to talk about Project 2025 and Agenda 2030 and Agenda 47, which is Trump's actual thing that he endorses, and that's his plan, not... Anyway, we have other things to do. We had other things to do. Now we have to talk about this.
Yeah, and I said this a couple weeks ago. No, I know. I said this a couple weeks ago. It's like, people will look at me and say, "Hey, why do you talk about Trump so much? Why do you down on the Democrats?" It's like, well, stop making me talk about it. Like that literally, like quit everything that I just mentioned here. When it comes to the media and social media and all the rhetoric that's being shouted down, I'm not saying that it's just the left or the right. It's all over the place. And it's it put us all in a position where all came to a head at 5:43 on Saturday. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm absolutely sick and tired of it. And I think most of us are sick and tired of it.
Yeah. I was talking with my dad about it earlier. He brought it up. I had a rough day at work, and I went down to the range, which happens to be the backyard of my father, and he was inspecting my target, and he's like, you had a better shot than that guy. And I was like, he wasn't meaning it like that, like what most people are. He was just, it's that cope, right? With like, what just happened, right? He wasn't endorsing it, but we sat there and it was the icebreaker to the conversation for us. Because my dad doesn't have a lot of words, but when I started telling him about what people were saying on Facebook, he was just like, he just shook his head. He's retired of 40 some years working for the same company, and it's like he spends his days hunting now.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on around us is like it's unthinkable in that respect of like that somebody could not just get up on the roof, but then the rest of the country, a good portion of people are endorsing it, and that's not even counting the people that are not willing to say it out loud, but they're actually thinking it and talking about it behind closed doors. Because the cancel culture is the first thing that is coming back around to bite them in the backside. People are getting doxxed. I'm seeing video. One guy walks into a Home Depot and confronts a lady at the customer service desk. Are you so and so? Yeah. Well, how can you say what you said about endorsing this guy's attempt on Trump's life? How can you do that? And she gets on the phone and starts to call management to remove this guy. People are. It's coming back around. This is the start of the repercussions of what they've done. And we're tired of it. We're tired of not talking about it. We're tired of not being political. We're tired of we're tired of the don't talk about religion and politics, because their politics is their religion on the other side. It's become that. And there are some of us who have held our peace way too long. And we're done.
Yeah,
done.
It's this giant balloon. And literally it just burst, and now you're gonna see the down, like this debris of just okay.
What it is.
Well, tag, you're it, pretty much. But anyways, I don't want to keep getting everybody on a Debbie Downer here, but we had to get that off our minds. So without further ado, we're gonna go with our first segment here. And we're going to talk about the Secret Service failure. Now, like I said, we already know what happened on Saturday, but how exactly did that happen? I want to go ahead and apologize, because on Saturday, there's so much was going on that, there was some information that I had that, like, as for instance, like who the shooter was. There was a whole... at least 20 million people that put the wrong guy out. And even on my show, I was like, take it with a grain of salt, because it just happened and we're just getting information now. And of course, the first 3, 4, 5 hours are all going to be BS. Because
they got to get Sam Hyde out of their system.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's got to get Sam Hyde out of their system and be like, oh, is this guy, and then lo and behold, it turns out to be the ugly Wojak meme.
Yeah, exactly. You want to know why? Is because they want to be the first one to report it. They want to be like, it was me.
Engagement farming.
Yeah.
Trolls.
But yeah, so then we figured it out afterwards and we made the correction. But this is a video from, let me see. Come on. What happened?
I like the new background music.
Yeah, this background music is nice. All right, I'm missing one of my links. There we go. Okay, let's get this one up here.
I got the music. Get your thing up there.
Yes, sir. I think this is Benny Johnson here. And he's going to go over some of the things that they found out after the fact a couple days later. And then he's going to go over the Dan Bongino show. Not the show, but him being at the convention. And to get his points, because he used to be former Secret Service. So he knows the deal. But anyways, let's listen in.
Truth as to what exactly happened when Donald Trump's ear was blown off, and it could have been his skull or his chest or his neck. Donald Trump is with us today by the grace of God alone, and certainly was the competency of the Secret Service. We've been asking a lot of questions like, for instance, how does a woman who is 2 feet shorter than Donald Trump cover him in the incidents of an active shooter? Why did the snipers who were trained on the actual assassin hold their fire until the assassin had fired 7 rounds at the protectee, blowing off part of his head. Why did members of the crowd see the assassin crawling towards Donald Trump and the Secret Service did nothing? Why do videos of the assassin alive appear on social media? These are the only videos we actually have of him. And that brings us to another question, which is, why does this man have no social media footprint? Oh, you have a 20-year-old who's never been on social media, never had a photo of himself posted in anything other than a BlackRock ad? Interesting. Why was Donald Trump surrounded by the most incompetent Secret Service agents in history? For instance, look at this agent try and holster her weapon.
Just remember what he just said. He had no social media except for a BlackRock ad of all things.
There were some videos that were supposedly him, like there was some crazy dude screaming at some people that were registering Republicans to vote. Turns out that wasn't actually him. That was from some other thing. So there's another one of those that was like, it looked like him because it was fuzzy, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was him. But the CIA, they like, in intelligence agencies like people who have low footprints.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a normal thing if you're going to go down the JFK route with this. You want somebody with a low footprint. We actually watched what little bit of a skid mark from the bottom of his digital shoe, which most people have, where you can look up a background check. I had a background check up on a website that was just on a tab, and your tabs will save and they'll refresh when you pull your web browser up. When I pulled my web browser up the next day, gone. Everything was gone. You can find stuff on his family still, but not him. They cleaned the crumbs up. And then from the only other thing you could find, but besides the stuff that's on Twitter, is you can find random people, for some reason, accounts on Twitter are posting videos of the shooter when he was in high school. And I actually found the video of him walking and getting his diploma from 2 years ago. It was live streamed. It's on YouTube. You can find it. So, but yeah, he's got that's it. And it's basically little videos of him being bullied here and there, and that we don't know where they came from. We don't know how they, kids from school probably had them and then decided they were going to, tweet them out or somewhere, post them and things. And I don't know exactly where they came from, but it's him.
It definitely is. And I remember I had a post where everybody was saying that he was a Republican. And part of that information that I had was his ticket to, I think, what was it, Act Blue?
In 2017, it's his address. It's not just another. There's a handful of people that have the same or similar name as him, but there was some accusation that, you guys are just reposting some 65-year-old Democrat, and it's like, no, we're not. It's actually, there's a record of his address. When he was 17, there was some kind of get out the vote drive, and he donated to it. And he filled the petition and stuff out. And both his parents are registered Democrats and have been for a long time. They're also mental health professionals. We'll just drive that on the back end of that for those that are thinking, other things. It's like, I can't speak for their service or their practice and what they do, but it's kind of sad to think that now we're talking mental health of a 20-year-old. What would drive him to go and shoot a president? And he's got 2 Democrat parents that are both in the mental health profession. At the very least, it shows that he slipped through their cracks in some way. I mean, you can't blame parents for what their adult kids do, but he's not that far out from being out of the roost. If he is, I don't even know if he lived with his parents, but I know that little.
He did. He lived with his parents, and then he had a falling out with his father at 18, and he decided to leave. So sometime within those 2 years that he was gone,
maybe his parents were moderate, and they just had busy professional lives, and he slipped through. I guess he wasn't too much of he kind of actually the way his classmates talked about him was how I kind of was in school. I wasn't like an egghead, but I was good at math, but I wasn't so good with social skills. That's kind of turned a little bit 180 now at this point in my life. It's kind of easy to talk behind a microphone. You get that when you start playing guitar in bands and things. But, being pushed around, it's like, I get that. What I don't get is how you go from being pushed around in school to I'm gonna take fire at a president who's running for office, like, to get reelected. I don't get that. I don't get anyway.
Well, I think Benny's going to go over that here in a minute. I mean, we're all still kind of like trying to figure out, like what are the motives? Was there a manifesto, things like that? But it's been a lot of the information that's come out does not say 20-year-old random just had a random thought one day and was like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Nobody just does that.
Right, and back to the whole accusations of being a Republican, not to mention the fact that there are articles written by the AP that talk about people that, and there's interviews with people on the street. Hey, from CNN, how did you vote? Why did you decide to vote in the Republican primary? Is this normal for you? And it's young people that are registering to vote in the primaries to vote against strong Republican candidates to sandbag them. It's known. This happens.
Mm-hmm. They admitted it on camera.
Yeah. It's not illegal either.
Who was the guy? The guy that was like, so why are you here? It's like, I'm here to support Nikki Haley. And it's like, but you're a Democrat. He's like, yes, I know this. It's like, all right, well, would you, if Nikki Haley wins the nomination and, it's between her and Joe Biden, who would you vote for? And he was like, Joe Biden. And it's like, so it's no longer about the actual politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about how do we garner the most votes to win.
And just for the sake of, I know there's some people out there thinking, well, once you register in a particular election cycle, how do you switch back? Well, Pennsylvania, 18 days. 18 days before the election actually happens, you can swap. That means you can flip-flop as many times as you need to in an election cycle. 18 days.
That's it. Absolutely crazy. All right, let's go
back to the Johnson video.
Yes, sir.
And she can't do it. Why was there a Pac-Man Secret Service bubble around Donald Trump?
Look at that.
Waka 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 waka.
Absolutely.
He definitely ate some pills, didn't he? He got the power up right in the noggin after he opened fire. Sorry, I'm coping.
The Pac-Man Secret Service bubble that just carves out the top of the building. Very strange. Why is this 20-year-old not able to have his phone accessed by the best hackers in America, run by the government? Why are snipers from all around the internet, and including snipers that we speak to on this channel, saying that none of this makes any damn sense and that Secret Service snipers are the best, and they clearly weren't sending their best that day? Why were they getting snipers who couldn't shoot a shot? A decent sniper can easily hit a target 500 yards or more. So why is the Secret Service claiming that a building the shooter used to fire at Trump, which was a little over 100 yards away, wasn't their responsibility? Come on, man. This is bullshit. Get it together and take responsibility, says Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is somebody that we've been listening to on this account. Now, we really, in times like these, want to tune into the professionals. So, again, we have reached out to professional snipers who say exactly what Bongino just said. There's a professional sniper of 20 years in military service. I have no effing clue what they are doing. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the building being 150 yards away that was outside the security perimeter. I've trained when competed against Secret Service snipers, and they are the fastest, most accurate snipers in.
Going back to the electronics and the FBI, I honestly feel that the FBI is now just damage control for the federal government. That's it. They don't actually investigate stuff anymore. It's just what's going to make us look bad and what's going to make us look good. and then we'll post all the good stuff and we'll just delete all the bad stuff and go from there. This is how you get conspiracies, folks, because you'll have a bunch of information that comes out with a bunch of holes, and then it leaves people with more questions than answers. But it's clear what's going on here, because there are at least 28 different camera angles of what happened. At least
there's a lot of footage. Everybody in that crowd had a phone, and many of them were using it. Right. Many of them.
Yeah, I interviewed somebody yesterday that was actually there, and I'm trying to get him on Thursday, Sunset Rants. If I can get him on, he'll be able to give us sort of like a first-hand account of like what he saw and whatnot. I'm not going to mention any names now. I want to keep them anonymous, at least for the time being. But
he's someone that's fairly local to us out here. And honestly, I could have been at that rally with another friend of ours that's on our back end production team. And if had I known, I don't, this is how much I keep up on all the details. This is how MAGA I am. I didn't know that Trump was within 4-hour drive of me. I didn't. That's how MAGA I have been. I'm really not in the MAGA crowd that keeps track of all of that. But had I known, I had a weekend free. I could have went with our friend and been like, hey, let's go see Trump. That's not far from you. I'll drive to your house. You drive the rest of the way. We'll get food on the way home. It would have been an easy thing. I could have been there. I could have been anything. I could have, any one of those people. I identify with the fact that that's Midwest. I'm literally on the latitude zone, on the same plane. I could just drive straight east and I'm there. Like, it was just, come on, let's get on with this. Get on with the Benny. I'm full of it.
The world. The fact that this happened makes zero sense, is what our source told us. What did Dan Bongino say last night? Well, Dan Bongino broke some news on Fox News last night about the catastrophic failures of the Secret Service, and now it looks like a horrendous cover-up by the Secret Service. Who has the president's life in their hand? Let's go.
Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino joins me now.
Pause.
Is this gross incompetence, or is?
I want you hit your left arrow key, and I want you to pause on Dan Bongino's face. Excuse my vertation.
Dan Bongino, that one
right there. That's the look of a man who knows what he's talking about. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be saying what he's saying, but he has to because he knows exactly what he's saying is exactly right. I know that face.
Not only that, but knows stuff that we don't.
Knows stuff that we don't, and he's doing everything he can. Like these and this, but he's also a guy who loves what he's done. He is full like pride in what he has done in his service. He has a clear conscience of what his record is. Even under Obama, he was on Obama's detail. Mm-hmm. He's a professional on with it. I just wanted to bring note to that.
Yep, and just know that if you were on Obama's detail, you crossed your T's and you dotted your I's, because anything happened to that man, and like talk about Trump before even Trump.
You let anything happen to the first black president of the United States, you are on the you're on the pyre.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Dan Bongino joins me now. Is this gross incompetence, or is it something even more scary that we can't even think about?
No, it's gross incompetence. I mean, how do you think about it, right? The counter sniper team, they train out, the Secret Service counter sniper team, obviously there to mitigate a sniper threat. They train out to 1,000 yards. So we're talking about, say it was 200 yards. It was actually less than that where this shooter was, right? You're talking about a fraction of what they're trained at. They're also trained to spot guys in ghillie suits, cracked open windows.
Right.
He's on a white roof in broad daylight.
He's on a white roof.
Now, again, it'd be easy for me to say, oh, well, let's not get into Monday morning quarterbacking. Bro, it's not a freaking football game. It's the president of the United States' life. The Secret Service has one job. Well, outside of counterfeiting and protection is one job. You keep the body alive no matter what. They came within a millimeter of this guy losing his life. I don't understand some of the commentary that's, they did a great job. Well, the body guys, that response was, brave. They ran up there.
By the way, for all those people that were talking about, like, oh, they need the Secret Service's top of the head's permission to pull the trigger. No, you don't. You do not. You see a viable threat. The first thing that should have happened is Trump should have been well off the stage and half a mile down the road.
While this dude was crawling on the building,
exactly,
they could have got him off the stage before anything. It's
literally
a radio call. Shooter on the roof.
Potential threat. Move.
That's it. It's literally all it takes. And
that's it. And he's out of there.
Yeah.
The second thing is, once they saw that gun, they have full authority to pull that trigger. Full authority. You eliminate that threat with whatever means necessary. You mean to tell me that they are not allowed to take out a legitimate threat, but just regular police officers can? Get out of here.
Yep.
Move it on.
Continue.
They didn't know there could have been 10 more shooters.
Right.
No doubt. Know those guys. Pretty heroic what happened there. But the security failure in the perimeter is a complete, total debacle. No one should defend this.
So when you have guys, we just played the sound, when you have fans saying, hey, there's a guy with a gun over there to multiple law enforcement guys, and they still are just looking around like this and no one. How does that happen?
How does it happen? You know what you just told the entire world is that the protections for our leaders are a complete joke. A complete joke. Because hear me out. Trump went to North freaking Korea without a security detail. And you mean to tell me that a 20-year-old kid was able to get with 1 inch of taking the future of this country away?
Now, granted, Donald Trump, when he walked across the DMZ, the memory of what we did when North Korea decided to kill a couple of our guys over a tree was still a thing. Okay? Like, and if you don't know what that is, you need to go, Paul Bunyan. Operation Paul Bunyan. Go look that up. We did the most epic elephant walk ever because a couple of their guys killed a couple of our dudes over a tree. And when we sent in the crew to go cut the tree down, they had an escort of the entire United States military, air, land, and sea. And they said, step. Okay? That's what Trump was walking with behind him. Because he walked in with confidence. And that's not, you don't walk into North Korea without being able to command respect like that. Like, he was willing to pull that all in. Air, land, and sea, Marines, and everything were I guarantee you, were ready to go.
They were 30 minutes from having half of our military there.
Like, so that still does not negate the fact that he walked across the DMZ and called the bluff. That's cojones. Definition. Look it up. Pictures are there. Okay? So when Trump decides he's going to do that, that's the thing. So, yeah.
Simple as that.
That's it.
Continue.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm getting from a number of sources that people are feeding to me their information, obviously, because they want to fix it. They're concerned, and I think you're going to see a lot of whistleblowers. I'm hearing there were very, very few. I don't want to give an exact number, but very few actual, I don't think anyone else has reported this, actual Secret Service poststanders at that site, that they were temp HSI,
Right.
Homeland Security folks, which they're great folks. I'm not knocking them, but that's not what they do specifically. We do protection and we're trained for that. So I'm hearing that. I'm also hearing that the counter sniper team, that they had a problem seeing over the elevation. That's why I didn't engage right away.
Oh, come on.
But that's not the problem. The problem, well, it's the problem, but that's not the real. The problem is, where the hell was the aerial visual support? Why was there no helicopter? Why was there no drone? Why was there no FLIR? Why was there no thermal? forward-looking infrared. How the hell is the crowd acting as the freaking counter surveillance
I know. If
operation?
that's the best asset you have is
it.
random.
Okay, so the FBI, if you remember Rittenhouse, do you remember the footage that they argued during the Rittenhouse trial was manipulated? Good night, baby. Right there. That's what it's all about. Do you remember? No. You gotta be It's fine. It's fine.
We're having technical difficulties, but great ones.
The Rittenhouse trial.
Mhm.
Rittenhouse trial. When they brought in the drone footage, they had drone footage. FBI had drone footage that they had released to the prosecution. And the prosecution had manipulated it in such a way, all they did was downscale it so it wasn't high res. So it was fuzzy enough. And they argued it in that time. You're telling me that the FBI can have 4K high definition nighttime drone footage of a guy chasing down an 18, 19-year-old dude.
17 at the
17. Was he 17 at the time? Okay, so he was underage, but he was right. So you could tell me he's going to chase him down through this little Kenosha, Wisconsin rural town-ish town. There's like all-American little during a George Floyd type riot, the BLM protests, and the FBI has that, and nobody has this 20-year-old on a roof with an AR pointing at Donald Trump. Sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Roll footage.
Yes, sir.
Trump supporters telling police that there's a guy with a gun. What technology are they deploying? They're bragging about they have all this new technology. I didn't see it. Tell me about when they rush him over to the van, I guess, the vehicle. It seemed like some of the Secret Service agents, I just don't know if they had the stature that I would expect to see and the gravitas that I would expect to see protecting the former president.
Well, the rule is maximum to the protectee, minimum to the problem, right? Because you don't know how many problems there are. So if you try to rush to one problem.
Right there. That's the photo.
Well, at least, hold on. I want to appreciate the fact that our president's packing heat right there. See that? I think that's him.
Is that the president's ass?
I think it is.
Is that the presidential ass?
Do.
Yeah, no,
bro, that's. But he packing heat. I don't. Do you think that Joe Biden has? Do you think that Joe Biden has the wrist to pull a trigger? I don't think so. The guy can't hang on to a pen without shaking. Okay, like our president carries. He's packing, and I bet you every other president before him was packing too. And I bet at some point Joe Biden had used to, but I wouldn't trust him with a firearm. I don't trust him with a set of stairs.
Bro, what was that meme? It was like our president could take a bullet. Your president could get killed by 75% of what's in your pantry.
Bro, he needs to be in nursing home. I think it's sad what they're doing to Joe Biden.
It really is.
It is sad what they're doing to him. The way they're using him. Thanks, Atlantic, for telling us that they only need his corporeal form. Dead man walking. Sadness. All right, yes. This chick is cowering. That's what that looks like. That doesn't look like security. That looks like insecurity.
Oh, we're gonna go over this part in our second segment, and I know.
Do you have the meme? Do you have the meme that was made of this one? If you don't have the meme that was made of this one, I'm gonna get it for you before we get there.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and press play. You look for it.
Let's go.
All right.
Like the Malcolm X shooting. And there's another problem over there. You're going to wind up getting dead quick. So they did the right thing by rushing to the protectee. on the evac out, yeah, you do see a couple of agents who one couldn't reholster the weapon and things like this. So yeah, there were some
And
definite.
the other one was like 5'4".
Yeah, I mean, you're going to find out in the coming weeks that the physical fitness standards for men and women are different. That's weird because the protectee's weight and height doesn't change for a man or a woman.
Does Cheadle get fired anytime soon?
She needs to go immediately. She has disgraced the Secret Service multiple times. She needs to go. She needs to be fired ASAP. But Mayorkas.
She said no. Multiple people asked her to step down. She was like, nah.
Mayorkas, the worst part is that Mayorkas decided he wasn't going to do anything about it. And then also, I broke him. I sent him the meme. So this right here, she refused to step down. Mayorkas refused to remove her. Biden's not going to do anything about it because they made friends back when she was at Pepsi, defending the bubbly as security stuff there, doing security detail work for Pepsi. And then the Congress decided, all right, well, since Mayorkas won't do anything about it, and he's decided that he does not want to comply with showing up in front of the House Select Committees, they impeached him. And then it went to the Senate, and then the Senate said, no, we're not having a trial on Mayorkas. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? These guys are not going to investigate the people that they're supposed to be keeping in line. That's their freaking job.
Right. Absolutely. And you look at what's happening with Merrick Garland. You got Merrick Garland, who was also being impeached. And what happened? I think it was Steve Bannon for the same reasons.
They're limp wristed. They can't do it. They can't put rounds on target. They don't know where they're at. They can't hang on to it. Their job now, they don't want to. Either that or they're complicit. Either they're too scared to go against, and I don't know, at this point, why? Why would you be too scared to go against what has been and go with the people? The people are done. They're done with this.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Drag them before the court, before the Senate and everybody. Let's pull it all out. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with.
Let's see what happens when President Trump becomes president again. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he decides, I'm going to resign and move to, Jamaica or halfway across the world. That's how you'll know. Anyways, continuing.
Mayorkas doesn't have the cojones to do it.
Biden should do it. Leapfrog Mayorkas and terminate her.
Zero chance.
She's got to go. Well, he never fired
he doesn't
anybody
even know who
over
the
anything.
Secret Service director is. There's zero chance. Like he fires her. No way.
All right. Dan Bongino, thanks so much for coming on Jesse Waters Prime Time. Keep talking to your sources.
Oh,
all right.
Whew.
Yeah, there she is, Kim Cheadle. By Jill Biden's office.
Yeah.
What did she do before? She ran security for what? Pepsi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For PepsiCo.
Cheetos.
They say guarding Cheetos. Oh, you guys are hilarious.
This is a fiasco.
It really is. All right. Well, let's move on to our second segment. And this is a rant and react. Women in the Secret Service. I know that the feminazi army is going to be coming after me on this one, but somebody has to say it. So I'm going to start off with a very important photo that that everybody needs to see, because this right here is exactly why the wage gap exists. Just kidding. Anyways, so sorry, not sorry.
That's funny.
No, that's absolutely hilarious.
It's sad. It's sad that that's funny, but it is.
But yeah, but you went over and you looked up DEI hires, right?
Dude, Show that. I snapped a screenshot while we were talking earlier. This is on my Brave browser, and I'm not exactly sure where Brave aggregates its search algorithm from. I know it pulls from a lot of sources, but they have a lot of their own stuff. They have their own AI backend and everything now. But I was just searching up. We were talking about DEI hire stuff, and that's all I typed in. So what comes up? Fired. Examples: airlines, Boeing. That's funny. Diversity, equity, Reddit, and meaning. What this shows right here is that the first one is there are plenty of people out here searching for, are these DEI hires getting fired? Because we're tired of them, number one. Number two, people are like, we want examples of DEI. What is a DEI hire? Number three, the meme lords are out there dunking on the airlines. Don't bring that up. I'm going down the list. I got to go down the list. Bring it back.
That's funny. But yeah, these are the things that people look at.
Diversity and equity. People are searching these terms now. Reddit and the meaning. Some people don't even know what DEI hire means, or DEI to begin with.
I can only imagine what's on Reddit. Oh my goodness, that's
Reddit's a cesspool. I don't even bother with Reddit.
A cesspool, dude. Oh Jesus Christ. But anyways,
that's a white pill. That one right there is a white pill. People are actually educating themselves on this.
Exactly. All right, so let's move on to ABC News. And so, what to know about Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle? All right, let's figure it out. Is this a...
Find out. We've been effing around enough. Let's find out.
Let's go.
Current director of the Secret Service and appointed by Biden in 2022. Cheadle is the only one of two women to ever serve as director of the Secret Service. Interesting.
Who was first?
I'm not sure. Prior to her appointment, she was the senior director in global security at PepsiCo. We gotta keep them suds secure. Before her time at PepsiCo, Cheadle served the Secret Service for 27 years, most recently as the first female assistant director of protective operations. She credited her brother, who had aspired to be a state trooper but was killed in a car accident in '88, with inspiring her career. I can see that. That's noble.
Yeah.
I mean, fine.
Continue here with the news tonight. There are fast-moving developments out.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody has their story, coming in. Again, let's take it with a grain of salt, and let's see what else they have to say about it. So, in the wake of the assassination attempt former President Donald Trump, the U.S. Secret Service had faced mounting scrutiny for its failure to prevent the attack. Much of the criticism has been aimed at the agency's director, Kimberly Cheadle. Cheadle, who was appointed by the role of President Joe Biden in 2022, Joe Biden, had previously been the senior director of global security at PepsiCo. Prior to her time at PepsiCo, she had served with the Secret Service more than 25 years, including on the Biden security detail when he was vice president. In a statement announcing her appointment, Biden said that she had complete trust in Cheadle, whom in 2021 had bestowed a Presidential Rank Award, which honors exceptional performance as a high-ranking federal official servant, or civil servant. Quote, when Kim served in my security detail when I was vice president, we came to trust her judgment and counsel. She was a distinguished law enforcement professional with exceptional leadership skills and was easily the best choice to lead the agency in a critical moment for Secret Service. She was one of the only two women to ever serve as director of Secret Service. Previously, she had been the first woman to serve as the agency's assistant director of protective operations. Let's see, is there anything else in here? There's not much there. So here, let's move on to this is I think USA Today. Let's see what they have to say.
Let's bring to the conversation Evie Pomporis. She's a former Secret Service agent. Evie, good morning. I want to put up this map of the farm grounds where this event was held last night. So the elevated position where the shooter was set up, was about 150 yards from the stage where former President Trump was speaking. As a former Secret Service agent, are you surprised that building wasn't better secured?
So when you do a security plan, you've got the main security, right? The security perimeter where there's the magnetometers, where people are being checked as they're entering the event. You have the outer perimeter, whereas when you have an open rally like this, you are extremely vulnerable. I've done these. They're probably the most anxious you're ever going to be as an agent, because you're trying to secure all of it. Now, the adjacent buildings, you do this in urban environments, you do this in a rural environment like this. When you do a security plan, you literally put yourself on stage and then you look out as if you were the protectee. What can I see? And if I can see it, it can probably see me. Now, for an outer perimeter like that, typically you will have a local law enforcement presence. You'll notice those buildings, and the Secret Service works with local police. You have to think of the Secret Service like they're the...
Did you see that? Look at how the
presence. You'll notice those buildings, and the Secret Service works with local police. You have to think of the Secret Service like they're the conductor of the orchestra. They create the blueprint and design for the security plan. They work with state police. They work with local police. And then they put in resources and assets.
So in the typical scenario, or in the scenario that one wishes would have unfolded, would you have had perhaps a local official secure that roof to make sure the roof is clear, make sure nobody's in the building, and then stand guard there so no one comes in after that clearing?
So we don't know if they did or did not do this.
Yes, but they should have.
I would presume you should have a local police presence in that area. Now, could you have put somebody on that rooftop? You could have. The other element is the counter sniper team. So as far as we know, we see a two-man team from the Secret Service side. As we were discussing prior before we started speaking, they are looking at everything. They have to cover 360 degrees. So I know a lot of folks are like, how could they not see this? I think one of the issues is if it is a two-man team, think about what they are consistently covering. So local law enforcement, definitely. But again, we don't know if somebody was or wasn't positioned. Now, if there was no coverage there whatsoever, that's going to be an issue. Why weren't those adjacent buildings looked at? They are very close. Yes.
And if there was somebody stationed there from local law enforcement outside the building where the shoot,
it was clear that sniper saw that dude. You see, right before he pulls the first trigger, he looks into it. He looks up like this, and then comes back down as if like he's ready to pull the trigger.
But here's the thing, though, is I found out that's those guys that are on video, they're not the ones that ended up being able to pull the trigger.
They couldn't.
It was the secondary team that was to the right of the stage, because to the right of the stage, it's kind of like if you're thinking of like, here's where their angle was just a little bit better. So like they were if you were looking at where the shooter was, the first sniper team that we've seen all the pictures of, they're to the right of the other sniper team. They're looking down the buildings. There's like 3 buildings there.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the building that was being shot from was at an angle just over. So they actually were the ones that were able to get the shot off. From what I understand, the Warrior Poet Society has a big supercut. If you go check that out, they have the best supercut of it, I think.
You know what's crazy about this is that, a lot of us say that, okay, they should have saw this happening and they should have got Trump off the stage. All right. We can't go backwards in time. It already happened.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if they did get him off the stage. Would they still have the same kind of wherewithal now where they completely changed his security detail? Would they have changed his security detail if this did not happen?
No. I don't think so.
It would have been.
I don't think there would have been 0 changes.
Yeah.
If anything, they would have continued to undermine it, I believe, whoever they happen to be. And no, not the they that some of you dirtbags out there want to think it is. But, they being the Secret Service security, as far as like Mayorkas and Cheadle. the DHS and all of them. Like, I believe his security has been undermined. Prove me wrong. You know, tell me, you show me a man who thinks I'm wrong, and I'll show you a Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
No,
Okay?
I was just about to say that.
He's been absolutely denied it. And I think Trump, after this, came out and said openly, dude, this guy needs it. Give him support.
Less than 12 hours later, they gave it to him. Less than
Yep.
12 hours later. And what that shows
To make face.
Yeah, of course, to make face, because could you imagine if after all this was said and done, the security that they beef up is Biden's? Do you know how that would look? Then it's going to make it seem like, oh, well, they're going to start blaming me, so I better start beefing up my own security so that that side doesn't start coming after me. Do you know how cowardly that looks?
Mm-hmm.
They had no other choice.
No.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Donald Trump is going to be the most guarded human being in the history of this planet over the next 4 months.
You better be.
Because they cannot afford for anything to happen to him now. They absolutely cannot.
They blew it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, and I'm not surprised. I'm a bit shook. Not surprised. I mean, how many times did the CIA try to kill freaking Fidel Castro?
Right?
Dude. You gotta go watch Dankila's video on that one. Holy mackerel. The amount of times they failed they were creative. It's not for lack of trying. Hundreds of times even, I think. Hundreds of times even. You know, like they went all out trying. And they got creative. Like they must have been asking their little kids, like, how would you do this? Like weird stuff they did. Like they must have been watching too many James Bond films, and not the good ones either.
The old ones.
Like the bad ones. And there's not many. They've got some character to them, but like, come on. The kinds of things they did. But anyway, they failed. They can't. They've lost it. They've lost the plot on this one. They had one shot, missed, and you know, did you bring that that video in, that clip from the Warrior Poet Society at all? For later, you say, because I didn't see it in the note, but we can get it towards the end. But while I'm on this,
just pull it up.
So like they made a really interesting statement towards the end there about it. Hold on. No, I'm losing that thought. Don't do that. You continue on your notes, and we can have our guy edit my little dirt moment out, because we need to keep moving with this. I can go all night. I'm ramped up.
As you consider the possibilities, how could he have gotten up there?
So as I look at this, and again, just from a preliminary assessment without having all the details, it seems to me what I would presume before the president goes up on stage, they secure the area. There's communication. Essentially, are we good to go? Is he good to get up on stage? I would presume that everything was in the clear. I would think that nobody was on that rooftop. What I suspect, and again, I'm suspecting that after he got up on stage, that's when the shooter took position. There's a little bit of a slant at that rooftop. Also, some of the photos show that he's dressed in colors matching that rooftop and building to camouflage a bit himself. So I'm suspecting he took position after President Trump spoke, then engaged.
Not very good,
it's
Camo.
Easy in hindsight to say, oh, why wasn't this done or that done? And let's just acknowledge that as we have this conversation. But it is interesting because there were eyewitnesses who said they were actually positioned kind of outside the rally, but were just listening, and that they saw the gunman up with the rifle flying around. They were trying to tell some of the local officials that they saw there. Is there a way to communicate? I mean, these are split-second decisions, but for example, if there had been a state police officer outside on that outer perimeter and someone...
Service Agent Evie, good morning.
They're split-second decisions, but for example...
Can we pause? And I know we like to grill the mainstream media. I know we like to dunk on them, but can we just pause and appreciate the fact that they were not read into this one and they're grilling it? They're grilling these people. They are going after it. There is, I know the initial reports were, basically the Office Space loud noises meme from CNN. But right now, this lady is absolutely asking the real questions. Normies, people on the street that were just kind of hanging out in the area. Oh, there's a guy with a gun on the roof next to where Trump's talking. That's probably not a good thing. Probably not a good thing. Hey, cop, you got radio? You should probably tell somebody about that. Go get that. He got a gun. Like, normies on the side of the street got it.
Bro, there's even people in the hood that were like, bro, I could do better than that shit. Like, send us up there, bro. We'll protect you for a cost.
Dude, we got it. I'm going to pull the clip up from Fitty from his concert on after that. We'll finish the night out watch with that one. I'll bring that. Keep going. I just wanted to appreciate the fact that this lady's doing her job right now.
A state police officer outside on that outer perimeter, and someone said, "There's a guy up there with a gun." Can that message get communicated to Secret Service quickly? Are they all on the same comms?
So really what the issue is, that person that was trying to communicate, were they actually verbally speaking to someone, or were they trying to get somebody's attention? When you're doing these rallies, you're looking at thousands of people. Yeah. How much law enforcement do you have? Do you have one officer or one law enforcement official to what? 1,000? And are they able to get that person's attention? Guys, at the end of the day too, and I think this is going to come up during the hearing, resources, money, this all costs something. So when you're doing these security advances, you are negotiating. I mean, there are times where I need 75 agents, and it'll come back. It's like, you know what? We don't have the resources or the funds, or we need these folks to be somewhere else. Can you do it with X amount of people? And it's not just the Secret Service. It's going to be law enforcement. Their resources are tapped as well.
So, Evie, quickly, let's talk about the aftermath.
The resources are tapped as well. I wonder why.
Call Blackwater. Actually, no. Call Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and ask him how he's been doing it. Because I think RFK has had more attempts on his life and people they've busted trying to get in. Dude, he had people that were posing as Leos and as mercs, and people that were like coming in with like, they had full uniform, like everything with a raid, and they were walking in like they were, because they knew RFK was using private security, and they were trying to just kind of walk through, and they got busted multiple times. Ask him how he's doing it. His team has been doing just as well as what Trump's has been before this. Like, he's figured it out. So
who's been trying to kill him though, and why? Well, I mean, I guess we kind of speculate, but
he's a Kennedy. It's in the blood, I guess.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. It's a thing, It's you see the meme, like the meme where it was like it's like RFK watching Donald Trump appropriate the Kennedy family pastime.
Like, oh my God!
I was like, no, you guys are way too spicy with that one, dude.
Self-fulfilling prophecy,
dude. Come on. If you have to appreciate a good meme once in a while, but like that one was on the edge. I was like, ew.
I'll tell you what, there's been some pretty fantastic memes. I wish I.
Dude, Brandon Herrera. If anyone hasn't checked Brandon Herrera's emergency gun meme review for this, you got to, because not only did he do a phenomenal job of like pulling all the memes out, but he ended up he plugs the donation fund for the families that are affected. The guy that lost his life, it was a fire chief, and lost his life putting his body over his family and whatnot, and the others that are critically injured. There's millions of dollars now in that fund. It's insane. And there was one of Brandon Herrera's big sponsors. It was like one of those gold fund or whatever. It's like those things where you can buy actual real gold, like an investment thing. They are a big donor to it too. And he didn't even know that they were until he started doing the gun meme review and looking into the whole thing. And there happened to be one of his sponsors. And then he reached out and was like, will you sponsor this? And they sponsored his video for him. Like, everybody's doubling down on supporting those families, which I think is what really we should be doing.
I did.
There you go.
I sent an undisclosed amount of money. It was a lot more than I could probably afford, but I did it anyway.
Don't tell his wife.
I think. Please don't tell my wife.
But dude, that's it. That's the thing is, like, you gotta go watch his thing on it. It was funny. It was good. It was levity. But it was sobering as well. Herrera has a way of doing the meme level copium of, like, where we're not just like, I'm replacing reality and with my own. It's a sobering kind of gun meme review and ends on the right note.
Oh, dude,
it's great.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to show you something real quick. This is. Hold on. Somebody did a 3D reenactment of, like, the bullet going through and how it missed him.
Oh, that's right. They did like an image tracking, and they created a 3D mesh.
Dude, this is
of, like, where the bullet would have went, because we have actual telemetry on where that bullet came from. We have an image of the bullet and the angle to his head from a certain point and everything.
Dude,
so
watch this.
Take a look what happened.
So I want everyone with headphones. Pause it.
What happened?
Everybody with headphones, if you don't have headphones, put headphones on and listen to this. And even find this. You'll hear 2 clicks in the audio. And one is the supersonic, the sound barrier breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is the gunfire. You hear the sound barrier, because this is a hypersonic bullet. This is faster than the speed of sound.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 different sounds you're hearing. And the time it takes for him to turn his head is literally just enough, just barely enough to fit in that gap between when you hear the sound barrier break and the actual concussion of the round going off.
All right, you ready?
Do
3,
it.
2, 1.
Take a look what happened.
And right after it, it's right past him.
Take a look what happened.
Boom. You just felt it there. Because here's the thing. From what I've heard from people that have gotten shot, you don't feel the initial bullet.
Mm-mm.
Like, I mean, you might, if it hits you center mass, then you'll probably feel it, but you won't feel the pain immediately. It's like a poof.
Right, like the slow-mo videos where the slow-mo videos of, like, ballistics gel and where it, like, the zombie dummy flubbers all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a person doesn't do that necessarily. Those are just, like, simulations. But it's like if you're ever in the kitchen and you've got a really, 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 really sharp knife and you're doing onions, and then all of a sudden you feel that burn.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's like, because it goes right through. And
yeah.
The other meme I saw is, like, when you get your ears pierced at Claire's.
Yeah.
That cheap place that's always in the mall. That's like, ooh, I know a few people got infections from that one.
Oh, I was one of them.
Dude.
Dude.
Oh, did you get the gauges? Did you get gauges?
No, I didn't get gauges, but
I never did.
I got little studs.
I got tats enough. Like, I can't even see that one, but, like, that's enough for me. That's crazy. But anyway, memes aside, like, that close to absolute unraveling of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we?
Hold on.
This is why this is Sunset Rants.
Exactly. Because
This we're still processing all of this.
Let me see if I can get this guy up here.
Oh no. It's the Fallout Vats. Oh, it's the old. You missed.
Oh my goodness.
When
but
your
no,
luck,
anyway.
when your luck has run out,
That's crazy.
dude, bro. Let's.
Well, anyway,
I'm-
so to kind of could kind of end this off, because what I have there is about DEI, and you notice that there was a common theme here, and that was the fact that you had these women that were on the stage. Now there was one of them. One of them was like boss's F. Like she was the one that was in the front, and she was the one putting her hand up and she was like, "Hit me, but you're not hitting my guy." She was badass.
Mhm.
All right. But the other two, I mean, one of them was what was it? The photo that I showed you guys. I mean, all
Look.
jokes aside, like she
Look, I knew girls on the swim team in high school that were taller than these chicks. I knew a couple of chicks that were like, basically, like they could have been in Melania's family. Like they had the Russian genes. They were big, tall, blonde girls. Like those chicks. And I knew one from Malaysia that was a foreign exchange student. Like, dude, these European, you can't find a handful of European chicks whose name is like Gruntilda or something to put up on there. Like big, tall German stock or something of that nature. You can't find them. Where are they? I'm sure you can find them. Get some of them Eastern European chicks. Like they're all right.
You know another women that are really tall? When I went to Iceland.
Oh yeah. The Nordic chicks are
Nordic Vikings. Those chicks are like the average height for them was like 5'10". It was crazy. I felt like a midget walking around there. But yeah, it was either way. When you talk about qualifications, right? Secret Service is a specialized field. The same way that an astronaut is a specialized field. The same way that, I don't know, insert specialized field here. But you have to, sometimes there's certain criteria that you just have to have that most women just don't have. All right.
And that was one of the things that Bongino said was like the requirements for women are different in the Secret Service and in the military even. They have and firefighters. But guess what doesn't change? The situation. The situation doesn't change. The height and weight of your principal or your guy you're supposed to cover, when you're on detail, that doesn't change. That guy's Donald Trump is Donald Trump. You can't tell Donald Trump to lose 6 inches in 100 pounds. You can't do that
in 30 years.
In 30 years,
right?
The guy eats McDonald's on the road, right? I mean, it's one of those things. Like, you have to have people that are capable. And if you saw the procession that when he walked into the RNC and the absolute units that were around him, holy mackerel! So one of my previous jobs, I worked for a firearms company. And we had one of our Ohio representatives here, and he had his assistant that does his agendas, and he had a Secret Service guy with him. I kid you not, that guy was 7 feet tall, and it didn't matter that the fact that he couldn't find a tailor good enough to hide all of his weaponry because he was weapon himself. That man was hilariously tall and big, and he wasn't fat, and he was just like. How do you find somebody like that? It's like standing next to Groot, like adult Groot. And he nicest dude. But of course you'd be the nicest guy in the world. You don't have to worry about anything. You're taller than everybody. Like, that was the kind of dudes that were around Trump. I was like, holy mackerel.
Hold on, I think I've got it here. Give me a second.
you want that. You need that. You can spare nothing of anybody's feelings for this. Look at these guys.
Because Trump's what, 6'3"?
Yeah, he's a tall guy. And his son is even taller than he is. You might want to you might want to kill the sound on that for YouTube because of all the copyright stuff.
Yeah, true that.
But that's fine.
Look at
But these look at these guys. Some of those dudes can be Agent 47.
Mm-hmm.
For Hitman reference video games.
Baron's 6'8".
Baron is huge. He's big dude. Freaking Baron is taller than his dad. He's taller than his dad. Like, you don't realize on TV these people are not that. Like Conan O'Brien. You don't realize how tall Conan O'Brien is until he's standing next to Brian Setzer.
Mm-hmm. Or David Letterman.
Like,
Letterman's 6'5".
These guys are giants.
Exactly. But anyways,
you can't cut. The point is, you can't cover that body with a tiny body. Yeah, you're a soft little squishy women. Fine, that's fine. You can work for the Secret Service. Go hunt down fake bills, because that's the principal job of the Secret Service, is to hunt down fake money. Go hunt down fake money.
Mm-hmm.
Let the guys who are mercs that are the size of Space Marines from Warhammer protect the freaking the president of the United States, who is also running and is the front runner and the RNC nominee. I almost said DNC nominee, but you know what? If they're actually the ones behind all of this, they nominated their opposition.
Exactly. Could you imagine if like Glenn Jacobs ran for president?
Man.
Who the hell's gonna guard him? Dude, you're gonna get like 10 Secret Service agents around him. His whole upper torso is gonna be like,
he's just wearing dudes like a vest under him. He's got him in like, like how like there are those like super dads out there with like the toddler carrier vests. They just got like little Secret Service guys with guns in them. Like, come at us.
He's gonna be holding him up on his arm like this with guns on the outside, bro. But anyways, long story short, it's a specialized field, and DEI and feminism took a massive hit. After seeing those photos. And honestly, I know there's probably going to be some people that are going to give me heat for that, but this is probably not the hill you want to die on. Not today, not yesterday, this is, because you will lose that every single time. Just take the L and move on. That's it. Anyways, well, hopefully we have something different to talk about on Thursday, barring if we get that guy who wants to come in that was actually there when everything went down, and he can give us, kind of give us his perspective. He actually messaged me back here, so after we're done with the show, I'm going to talk with him and see what he wants to do, and then if we do, we'll have him lead off the show. If not, I mean, hey, like I said, things happen. He's still shaking up. He was there with his family, so
we'll probably he won't be on camera probably.
No,
he'll because he's a normal dude, and we know him through Discord servers and things, and so it's like this is somebody that we want to. He's kind of close to us, like we in a way. He's a normal guy. We don't want to blow him up and everywhere, but this is the closest we're gonna get to be able to talk to somebody that was there, because he was, and we're gonna let him say what he has to say about it, and then he can go on his way, because we don't want to keep, when you're trying to process what happened when you're in a situation like that, you don't want to continuously have to drum it back up. You don't want to continuously have to rehash and go over the thing over and over and over. Like, you have to allow yourself time to breathe and get away from it, and then come back and process, and get away from it and process these things. This is something that this guy's never going to forget. It's going to stay with him the rest of his life.
Yep.
And everybody that was there, and the rest of us who had watched it in real time. Like, I remember days when I would sit, like, growing up in the 90s, watching like X-Files and Unsolved Mysteries and whatnot, and the conspiracy things about JFK and Martin Luther King. And my mom, as a little girl, remembers all that. She would tell me about that, and it's like, I hope to God I never have to live through. But, you know, how many once in a lifetime black swan events can you live through, Roma? 9/11.
Millennials, dude. Millennials, we're trying to figure out if we need to make our car payment next month.
We're elder millennials.
Yeah.
We're closer to our Gen X brethren, okay? But we've seen the internet. We've gone from no phone to all of the things in our phone. We've seen a president attempted to be assassinated live.
We've seen a pandemic.
Well, we've seen a, you know, if you can call it a pandemic, but, you know, we've seen
Plandemic.
a plandemic, if you will. We've seen all kinds of things. And this is, you know, by the time now I'm the age that my parents had their last kids. You know, I'm now at that age now where my kids are having to grow up, and I'm hoping to see them through all the way to being adults and not live in some weird freaking dystopian wasteland. But, you know, here we are. Pray for your leaders. Pray for them. Pray for your enemies. Do it. It's hard. We sit and we laugh and we make fun, but it's copium. But at least we're being honest about our copium. You have to find in yourself to not be the fuel on the fire. Even if the fire's raging and you can't put it out, don't run in there and get yourself burned up. But we have to push back. We're tired of pretending.
Well,
so.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us for Sunset Rants. That's the Rant Meister there, Scrap Jaw. I'm AK, your favorite guy, and I also host Roma Nation on Saturdays at 10 p.m. Finally, we're going to get to Project 2025 versus Agenda 2030, and then we're going to round out the last 2 episodes of the season with Russiagate Uncensored. So, hope you guys will be ready for that. Again, we also do have a Discord. It's in the description below on Rumble. You can find it at Roma Nation on the Discord as well. Outside of that, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on Thursday. Have a good night.